Hey, welcome everybody. This is Discord user Slappy White, and I'm here with Tex Hooper. And today, what is it? We're recording this live at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central for some of the guys on the panel today. Welcome to Boba Breakers Backstage by Radish, the only show featuring the men and women, no women today, who rip the cards more than anyone else, who see and touch those cards, more than anyone else. These are the men and the women who understand Bo Jackson Battle Arena and what it means to you more than anyone else. Yes, I'm talking about the breakers of Bo Jackson Battle Arena, and this is Boba Breakers Backstage. Say that fast 5 times, Tex. Where all your favorite breakers come to share their thoughts about your favorite subject, Bo Jackson Battle Arena. I'm Slappy White, and here's my partner and moderator, Tex Hooper.
Good morning, Slappy. It is quite early.
Hey, not too early for a Pat's Blue Ribbon, apparently.
No, it's never too early for that. Hey, like I always say, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
My kids say that now because Tex told them that. They say it weekly.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, let's get into it. It's early in the morning here. Hopefully everyone's awake. Let's introduce our 4 breakers we'll be talking to today. Mainly Breaks. We have Seth with us this morning. Welcome, Seth.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it just to be a part of the group and part of the breaker panel.
Wonderful. Thank you for being with us. Next, we have from Card Society, we have Eric.
What's up?
Hey, Eric. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
What's up,
Wonderful. Next, we have Jacob Luke from Lake County Cards. Jacob, how are you?
How is everybody?
We share a name. We got 2 Jakes here.
Oh, nice.
And last but certainly not least, Simo Sells. Simo, how are you, sir?
Good morning.
What's up, Simo?
Sleepy.
Yeah. What time is it where you are? Where are you?
It's about 8 a.m. I am in Missouri, about an hour and a half south of St. Louis.
I thought you were in Utah for some reason, but Missouri's far enough.
It's too cold in Utah.
Come to Syracuse. You want cold?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were. Tex, are you from Syracuse?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just saw Tex and I was assumed that you were in Texas. Wrongly.
Yeah. No, common mistake.
Yeah, that is yes. It's confusing. Want to say good morning to everybody who's tuned in right now. We've got a number of people watching live, including J Val. This is being recorded live on Friday, October 24th, just a week out from Halloween. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's talk about breaking formats, Tex. Some of the audience really loves, and some of the audience really loves to hate.
Yes, definitely. I think we should start by talking about breaking hot dogs. In the early days of Boba, this was the way it was done. It was breaking hot dogs. It seemed to be the easiest way to do it. But who in here has experienced breaking with hot dogs, doing a hot dog break? So, all right, let's hear from you guys. Eric, what do you think about doing a hot dog break?
I originally loved it. I loved the concept of it. And the way I did it was I would go through the pack and then reveal the hot dog at the end of the pack, which I think others have done as well. The challenge was there's some hot dogs that don't appear as often as others. And that seemed to be the reoccurring theme. And it just, you had like 10% of the room or 10% of the buyers that were just extremely disappointed, just not getting anything at all. Or possibly getting 1 pack out of, the case or whatever it might be. So it's a lot of fun. I think the concept is fun. If the hot dogs were more evenly distributed, I think it would be fantastic.
All right. Excellent. Well, it's good to know for the future of Boba, maybe they can tweak the hot dogs a little in future releases to make it a little more even.
Well, and Tex, for folks who don't know, because you and I, of course, have been here since day one of Boba, is that hot dogs were really how the Boba team envisioned breaking. That was their pitch, is that they said, this is how it's perfectly made for you to break, because it was similar to what in Pokemon, like there's an energy card, right? that I think is like, that's what decides that. And so they were really kind of modeling it on that. But to Eric's point, and Jacob said he said they were the very first ones to do a hot dog break. At Radish, we did some breaks by hot dog, but I'm interested to hear if Jacob had the same experience that Eric did, because I did as well. I know that I think SubHub was doing breaks. SubHub went to 10 spots of 3 hot dogs each because the coalition was off. And so it's interesting because we know it was their first time going through the factory, right? They're manufacturing a whole new card game for the first time. People have never done it before. They're relying on the expertise of the manufacturers, but it does make you wonder, right, Eric? Was the coalition not a focus? Which I don't blame them. Collating the hot dogs is the last thing I'd worry about with that boba alpha set. But do you think, Jacob, maybe that was the issue, is like they just didn't get the collation right?
Yeah, I would definitely say collation was rough for some of them. I have my first ever break was a hot dog break. First one that got me into boba. Me and my sister did a hot dog break. We did a jumbo, a hobby, and a booster pack, or booster box, sorry, for our first ever break. So a pretty large break. And Cheddar hit a super, all 3 autos, 2 of the oranges and a blue in
oh my God.
all of those stuff. Cheddar went to all of them. So only 1 auto went to one of the other packs. Cheddar took home everything else. It was a rough break for anybody else who was in there.
Simo, the fact that he remembers Cheddar just tells you all you need to know how horrible he felt about everybody else in that break.
Yeah.
Cheddar's
yeah, definitely. Well, since not everybody has a lot of experience breaking hot dogs, let's move on to what I think we all, or you all, yes.
I just want to know before we move on from each one, can we ask the panel, do you do hot dog breaks currently, and will you do them again? Can we just add, it doesn't have to be a long discussion. I'm just curious where everybody is.
I mean, I've done them as a customer, and I never hit, so I chose not to do them as a breaker. And that's, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's kind of why I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great experience. But are we going to have a different amount of hot dogs come Griffey? Because if that's the case, that might change what I decide to do.
I think that goes to the collation issue, and I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think the Boba team has addressed that. As far as if the collation will be any different with the hot dogs.
Yeah, that's a good question, though, about the hot dogs. If we're going to have that, you know what? I just assumed it as gospel. But that is interesting if they're going to change the 30 hot dogs. Simo, what about you? Hot dog breaks, will you do any in the future?
I have not done them, partially because when I started this, I was so new, I had no idea what a hot dog break was. That is the most reason I did never do one. I don't see myself doing one, just because there is so many other options that have already worked, what I would say for me, and my viewership. So I don't see myself doing it, but if it turned out hot dogs were more sporadic and there was more, I'd give it a shot.
You're like Hawkman, never say never.
Yeah.
I mean, if the people want it, if that's what they request, I'd be happy to do a hot dog.
Especially with 30. I think 30 is a great number of spots. So if, in Griffey, there's 30 different hot dogs, I think that's a perfect number of spots for a break to where the price isn't too high, and you feel like you're getting some value out of it as well.
Now,
sorry, go ahead, Dex.
With the alpha breaks that have been happening, for those of you that have broken alpha, I know that the hot dogs play a big role in the alpha breaks. How have you found the collation in alpha with the hot dogs? Is it weighted certain hot dogs more than others? Have you noticed?
I haven't been fortunate enough to get my hands on alpha.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've only ripped alpha once, and that was 6 boosters with the blast break that I did. And it felt the same way, especially when I was packing. It was like, this has a decent stack. This one has one. Kind of the same way, in my opinion. But that was only one break, so.
Right. Now, Eric, you have a lot of experience doing hero breaks, right? Can you explain to us what exactly a hero break is?
Yeah, so a couple different options you can do with hero. One is random, where you have a list of heroes and it's completely random break where people are bidding on the next auction, and whoever wins that auction, the wheel spins and whatever hero pops up that is yours for the break. The other option is pick your hero, which has become, I think, more popular now, and it gives a lot more value, I think, to the person buying, because you actually choose who you want to bid on. You can choose how high you want to go on that particular hero. And then there's also, the combined hero option, which I think is even better, to where you combine 2 to 3 heroes together. So you have a chase or somebody who signs in the product combined with somebody who maybe appears more frequently. So that way that person they'll feel like they're getting a lot more, but they also have the ability to chase, the more exclusive, more rare hits as well.
Excellent. Does anybody else have any thoughts on hero breaking?
Yeah, Tex, I'll add real quick. I moved to doing mostly hero breaks, and that was just because being in other breaks as a participant and customer, people seem to really like those. And it gives you options, like Eric said. You could group feature, non-feature. You can do squads, so you can do groups of 3. I found we've started doing groups of 2, and it allows you to break 2 or 3 boxes. I think sometimes if you did, from my perspective, if you did all heroes, single auctions for each hero, you'd have to do more than one box. It's just, from my perspective, just a better chance to hit something. And also, it's a lot of work. Like the back end with sorting. Legit, the first time I did it, I love to hear from you guys. It took me like 5 hours to sort everything, to get it ready. And I'm like, man, this is for the birds, but this is what the people want. So I guess this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's when you love it, when you're involved with 5-hour shipping and packing.
Post office appreciates you guys. I just want to share something. As I reached out to a member of the team to ask them about the hot dogs, and apparently this was said on a stream once, but as you guys know from this panel here, there's a lot of great streams going on. So there are 40 hot dogs in the Griffey set. There are the 30 original and 10 new ones. So it will be a 40 hot dog set. One point, Tex, I just wanted to make about the hero is that Radish actually used to do breaking for Home Team Heroes. And for folks who aren't familiar in the boba world, is that it's actually based on the intellectual property of digital heroes. And we had digital cards. And so we would break it. And you guys are talking about the heroes. One of the complaints we heard is not everybody is like Tex, who's chasing one particular hero. And for those who, they didn't have any alpha, so you guys get your hands on alpha, well, they don't just want one, right? They want a smattering of heroes from the alpha. So that's the only downside, right, to a hero-based break, is that sometimes people are like, I don't want to get, 20 of one hero. I actually want to get, hey, I just found boba. I was too late for update. I want to get a group of heroes. So that's kind of the only time. Do you guys hear that much? Or do you, I kind of feel like as the community's matured, you just hear the loud voices who want their one, hero. And I feel like they kind of drown out the other people, but I'm curious where you guys think they are in terms of a split. Like, is it 80% want a hero or 80% just want a smattering?
I don't know the split, but I'd say in my channel, it seems like, people are buying a lot more than one spot. So that would tell me, they're not necessarily chasing one guy. They're chasing the hits in the product. I'm the same way. I love alpha. I love CC. That's kind of what I went for in blast. But for update, if I'm joining a break, it's just whoever I'm feeling in the moment, whoever I think is going to hit. Usually a non-debut and then a debut spot I'll try and go for. And it's just kind of like I think it's that one tonight kind of deal.
Nice. Another aspect of breaking is breaking by power. Jacob, can you maybe talk to us a little about that and how breaking by power works?
Yeah, absolutely. So every single hero in boba has a power on the top right of the card. I think it goes between 85, 200, and 250 if you're lucky. One card left at 250.
If you're really lucky.
Yeah, if you're really, really lucky.
In the box on my shelf.
And so usually the way that it'll divide up, if you're in a larger break, like let's say we're breaking a jumbo box, every 5 power will be its own spot. So you got your 85, 90, so on and so forth until 200. Sometimes people will add up the higher powers together. And then if you're doing a smaller break, it'll be, I know when I do like a 1 booster break, I'll have 5 all the way up until around like 165, 170. And then I'll do 160 to 180, 180 to 200, and then I'll either do random power where you just get one of those random spots, or I'll do pick your power, which allows you to kind of go, whatever. I always go for a 145 spot if available because that's a harder hit, so that spot usually goes up. Same with 160, and then they'll add on the plays as a separate spot as well.
Can I ask a
Great.
question about that real quick?
Sure.
Please
Hey,
go ahead.
Jacob, when you've done pick your power, what do you find are the ones that people gravitate towards for
I
bidding
mean,
wise?
as always, it's the higher power. I haven't, but Bauer, who does our other breaks from the office where I'm at right now, he does a lot of power breaks, and his power breaks go pretty high. He usually does, what he's been doing recently is he's been adding one chaser per spot, and so he'll reveal it with 5 seconds left on the bid, so you get something with every spot. And I think I went for the 145 spot. I went for like 90 power on a 40 loose pack break. And then the 170 spot went for like $150 on 40 booster packs. So if you're adding in some extra heat, it's pretty solid, honestly.
High risk, high reward. Yeah, I've never tried that. That's interesting. I'll consider it.
Well, and also
Eric-
for folks who don't know, is that of course Tex and I played on Apex Madness at last year's National, and what everybody knows, there's certain power numbers that are very hard to complete your Apex deck. So for folks who are planning on competing, and just so everybody's aware, this is a secret that we do shows to inform. So we're not trying to keep it. I know the other Apex Madness teams would like us to, but Apex Madness and Apex Playmaker were the two elite world championships at last year National. Playmaker was you use substitution, you use plays. Apex Madness was war. It was only war. To this day, I still meet people who don't understand that. We were playing for thousands and thousands of dollars, and it was simply war. So what you need to do, though, is there are rules to your deck, and it can only be optimized so much. So you need those power cards to optimize. And that is a big reason why power breaks are important to players. Sorry, Tex, you were going to say.
No, I was just going to ask Simo and Eric, do you have any experience with power breaks, or have you not done that yet?
Yeah. I do power breaks pretty often.
Okay.
Pretty much a mix between that, hero break, and double hero break, and then one we haven't talked about yet, a digit break. Is the three that I typically do.
All right.
I
Eric,
like
go
power
ahead.
breaks too, and I think from a breaker perspective, the time and sorting on the back end is so much less work than a hero break as well. And that's something too. You got to really factor in, what the consumer value is, the person buying the spot, and then what the time is going to be like on your end. Is it going to take 5 hours to pack and ship that break when you're done, or sorting by power with I think there's 27, 28 different power levels. That's relatively easy. It's less than a pro sports league break with sports cards. So I thought that was a great concept, and I think we'll see a lot of that in the future.
Simo, since you brought it up, can you explain to us what a digi break is?
Yeah, so like Jacob just said, every card has a power in the top right and the bottom left. I don't know if you'll be able to see or not, but down here in the bottom left, there's always a card number. So whatever that number ends in, it's either going to be 0 all the way through 9. Let's just say you get number 3. Whatever card and whatever you're breaking ends in that number is the cards you'll go home with. I usually do it random because there is some slight advantage to a few spots if you know which the bow super, if you know which digit that is. That's the one everyone's usually going to pick.
What digit is that?
Man, I've done random for so long that I've honestly forgot, but I think
sure, okay.
I think it's digit 2. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's number 2. But
we'll fact check that after the show. That'll be in the
let's do
post
that.
show
Yeah,
notes.
Keep that information in your back pocket.
So
That's
now
smart.
digit number 2, if you do dollar stars, digit number 2 is going to go crazy. So no, I just do a set price. Really just depends on whatever I have in the boxes for it to make sense. But they are affordable. I remember when I started and my first break was a digit break. Took an hour and a half to fill back then, and $30 something around there for.
Look at that beauty.
It looks like one, might be one.
Yep. It's one over there on Bojack's.
Wow.
One for the auto, and then 76 for the non.
Yep.
76 or 75. Yep. Sorry, Simo, I didn't interrupt. I just want to bring that up.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I also just want to point out to folks who are watching, you can find this information if you head to play.bowbattlearena.com/cards. We'll put it in here as well, but that's a great way for you to go and look at all the cards. Sorry.
No,
Simo.
you're good. But yeah, I just do, a set spot that hopefully makes sense to the buyer and to me. And then once the break fills completely, I just do a randomized wheel. And the order that you bought, that's the order that the spins go to. So the last person that bought gets whatever's left, pretty much.
Excellent. Has anybody else done digi breaks?
I've hung out in Simo's break and done them as a customer. I remember that first one, Simo.
Man,
That was fun though. We had a small group, all the OGs, the names that you guys would recognize. But yeah, that was fun.
But I'd say hit wise, it shares pretty well.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you do a hero break and it's small, you might not even get a base card. At least with this, you're going home with something. Even if it's just base, at least you're going home with something.
Is that anything any of you guys would try in the future?
Oh yeah, for sure. On smaller breaks and everything, especially.
Mhm.
I mean, I've had good luck with digi breaks, so I think I've gotten like 5 of my freak shows out of Simo digi breaks. So
I tried one yesterday, which is pretty much the first time I tried it for a long time, just because with box prices going up, that means digit prices have to go up. And when there's only a few spots, 10 spots total, that can get pretty pricey. But it seemed to go well yesterday. I mean, it filled super fast. I think people see the value, though, that they are going to get something out of the box. So that's a plus. But yeah, I remember when we started, it was around $30, maybe a little less, which is, very affordable to get, our hands on a decent amount of cards out of a box.
Mm.
Well, and it's an easy way. Eric, to figure out your profit margin. I know there's some people in the community who those breakers are you guys are. I appreciate you guys hiding your mansion, Seth. Thanks for hiding. your 12-bedroom home that you
in Southern Maine.
You guys
in there.
You guys should see his couch.
I believe it's referred to as an estate.
Yeah.
Right.
But so Eric, it's easier. I mean, when you do the digi breaks, is that you can figure out. It's pretty easy to say this is my cost. These are the spots and what they have to average. So the other thing is, Simo, do you ever? Or I guess Simo, I should ask you, because do you set the price or do you always just let it auction?
For some reason, I set the price. Well, in the beginning, I had to, or else that would have been very, very bad. Just because I was very new to Boba, didn't have a decent sized crowd at all then. So I think just mentally, I always set it just because of what it is. Honestly, yesterday I did a power break with 2 boxes and then just had a digit break in the shop. And I was like, hey, whenever it fills, we'll just go ahead and rip it. So it's something I don't even have to worry about. I just kind of bring it up like, hey, don't forget there's 2 spots left in the digi break. So that's also why it's kind of a set price.
I'll be honest, I hadn't heard, Simo, the term digi breaks, and it's I'm lucky because I'm in a group chat with Tex Hooper and Rody, and I'm sure the breakers on the stage have heard the name Rody before, because he's buying in all your breaks. So between Rody was quick to tell us exactly what it was. Oh, he knew what your break was all about. So between Tex and Rody, we can answer any question about what you guys do. So I appreciate their degen nature.
I'll be honest. Whenever I used to do digit breaks, it seemed like there was people that did a different type of digit break, because a lot of people did not like it, at all. It was in Discord even, and I was just like, it seems like it's working over here. I don't really understand. And then I found in my channel that I'm doing it different than the other way, and I have no idea what the other way is, if any of you do. I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
That is interesting, yeah. Seth, another breaking format is team battles. Do you have experience with that, and can you explain to us what that is?
What do you mean exactly with team battle? So,
Snappy, how would you describe it?
Well, I think Lungta, you were talking about where you did.
Oh yeah, I was doing that almost exclusively for a while, and so what I would do was it was basically a pack auction, and I would auction off all the packs. What what I liked about it is after that I had a wheel where I created these two teams. So it actually just have a boba match, and it would just be a war style entry level match, and it was chance. So it would be 5 or 7. You'd play a game, and whichever winning team, I would have a prize. So what I liked about that is someone always got the cards they were getting in their pack, and if they didn't hit, hopefully they hung around, they watched till the end, and then there was a chance they would make the team. And really, what I found is not all the strongest players. It wouldn't matter because you could have a low powered battle foil, and if your team member had some heat, then you would still be able to win a prize. I can't do that anymore. I mean, I guess I'm small enough to where I probably wouldn't get caught unless someone wouldn't tell on me. But because of the rules around and whatnot now, yeah, I couldn't that wouldn't fly. So.
Well, yeah, I was just B-Jamps is watching, and he just brought that up in the chat, and I was thinking the same thing. With all the recent rule changes to whatnot to get away from gambling as much as possible, I don't believe those breaks are allowed anymore on whatnot.
Not as I read the rules. It's pretty cut and dry. So again, I mean, I got a small viewership. Would I get caught? It's not worth it.
Well, so Seth, though, would you ever consider going to? You guys all have following in this. Would you ever consider just streaming it on YouTube and just doing a different format? Like Simo, you mentioned when it fills, it fills. So why not just sell, when it fills, and you're going to take that off? It's like you don't have to give them the fees. You don't have to worry about them coming down hard on you. I know, Jacob, you guys were big on, it's funny, Tex and I were talking about it because you guys were the outlier. You guys were always on, it was eBay, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or Fanatics. Yeah, and are you guys switching away from Fanatics, or you're just expanding more into
without giving away too much, Fanatics just wasn't really working with Boba, is what we were finding. Like we were I was breaking on Whatnot at the same time Bauer was doing a lot of stuff on Fanatics, and there was just something about the Whatnot community that seemed like it was everyone on Boba. Our Fanatics community was all pretty much local people that are, in the shop playing Boba, people who are on Bazooka, people who were like close friends with us. They were the ones buying the spots. I think I had to go in and buy a spot every night.
Twist your arm.
Yeah. Oh man. So, and it was like, we were trying hot dog breaks out in there, and it would take like, he would start the stream at like 8 p.m. and we'd fill it around midnight, and then you're ripping after that, and you have 3 people in the show the whole time. No one's talking in chat. Like, there's just something about the Whatnot community that Boba is already there, that you have to bring the Boba to the people. You can't really move, at least as of right now, since we're such a small community, you can't really move the Boba somewhere else because there's just people who don't want to, they don't want to migrate yet.
Mm-hmm. Do any of you have experience breaking on eBay? I know eBay Live, has their thing. How does that work? Have any of you
it's a lot of work. Their back end system is nowhere close to where Whatnots is. I think they're trying, and they keep making updates. But their platform is built off of their auctions on their website, and they're kind of bolting on the breaking piece to it, to where it makes it very difficult, especially if you're going to have 100 spots with different character names. There's a lot of manual input on that data. Within Whatnot, the back end, you can copy and paste a spreadsheet pretty much within under a minute. You can have a break set up ready to go. With eBay, you're talking about probably an hour of just data entry, getting things set up on the back end. And then the buyers, they don't have nowhere near the buyers that Whatnot has on their platform. And I've done single shows. I've done every sport under the sun breaks on eBay. And it's just the bids are low. There's not a lot of people on there. The interaction isn't as fulfilling, I would say. And that's part of why I do it, is I enjoy the community aspect of everybody in the room. I mean, a lot of them are my friends now, so it's not even about, who's making money or who's getting what card. It's just kind of about hanging out with a small community of like-minded people and ripping product. And I feel like with eBay, that was missing. There wasn't that community aspect. I wasn't sure who was in the room, who was not there, and so it just wasn't as fulfilling. And then I've kept an eye. I believe there's one company right now doing auction Bo Jackson brakes, and the spot prices are just significantly less than what they are on Whatnot right now.
I found too, I have very little experience with being a consumer of eBay Live, but I found that it's very hard to find the eBay Live stuff. And the only time I've really interacted with it is when I've had something like sent to me directly, basically. Like when I log in, I'll get an alert that like, oh, this is happening live, and I can click on it and go in that way. But to just like just to go to eBay and try and find the live and like who's on and who's not, it seems very difficult. It doesn't seem like there's a smooth process.
Tex, what makes me nervous about eBay and why I wouldn't invest too much into it is that eBay is such a large corporation, is that they understand what's happening to breaking. They know that, Fanatics top said the future of distribution is breaking. So that's where the industry is going. And so there's a lot of money to be made. That's why eBay's interested, obviously. But eBay is so large that Whatnot is fighting to survive. They got to stay ahead of regulatory restrictions in all 50 states. And you can see a company that wants to survive and wants to thrive, and they'll do anything to do it. eBay is a classic case of if it gets to be too big of a pain in the butt, they're just going to drop it. They don't mind spending $1 billion on something that doesn't work out. And so that's the only problem I see with eBay is like, I don't see the fight in them. I don't see them, a guerrilla group of people in head of that organization making decisions. Because to your point is that when you were saying, Eric, that there were an hour of prep time, I mean, it's a non-starter. If we were just talking about how much work it is for you guys, I mean, why would you go to eBay that is not a better name than Whatnot in the brake space and add to your burden? Like that's a non-starter, and you guys are the ones who are going to make the decision whether eBay survives or not.
The one thing I do like about eBay and Fanatics is they vet the sellers. You have to go through a multi-level interview and training process in order to be approved for even to list brakes on eBay. And same with Fanatics Live. With Whatnot, anybody with a phone can pretty much go live and start selling. And so you do have to have some sort of level of trust, especially with a new product like Battle Arena, which has brought, 20 new breakers, I think, in the last couple of months. Whereas with eBay and Fanatics, you have an account manager who sort of helps you with things and can answer questions, but also they're watching, I think, very closely in terms of what's going on and making sure that things are on the up and up.
I don't know if this was news to me. I just found out about this last night, and I don't know if any of you know about this, but if you're familiar at all with eBay and sports cards, Probstein auctions, they're the biggest sports card seller on eBay. They've done almost $1 billion in sales on eBay. As of, I think it's today or yesterday, maybe, they are off of eBay. And I think it's by December 1st, they're starting their own auction platform called Snipe. So Probstein is now gone from eBay and will be opening up their own auction site. And I wonder if they will be getting into the breaking phase too. But I wonder like how that's going to affect cards on eBay going forward and stuff, losing like such a big seller like that and such a big source of revenue. And what you guys think about that, if anything.
I mean, that's a really good question. I guess it depends on how loyal their current customer base stays. So if you've used them in the past, you're super happy, you get good prices. And I've used some companies that I find do really well, and I'm happy to send my cards to that I don't list on my eBay store. And then, I think that's the big thing. And maybe you send them to them and they run their own options and they're not quite getting the amount that you're used to getting. So there are plenty of other auction houses that are big enough to where they have the eyeballs, and I would probably just send them over to eBay because we know that for an auction style, it's just going to have the most eyes. But I'm curious about it. And interesting name to choose, by the way.
Yeah.
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 Well, and it's interesting because they're trying to avoid the fees. I'm sure they
Yeah.
did the math and say, hey, we're at such a large volume. Our whatever they negotiate, they're 12, 15%. 15% times that is $500,000. If we invest in a platform, it's worth it for us to take a flyer. But Tex, you can't set up that question without explaining to people your Probstein story.
At the National was it 24? I think the 24 National. I had a Lou Alcindor rookie card, like a PSA 8, I think it was, that I was looking to move at the show. And on the last day, I hadn't been able to move it. I hadn't really shopped it around too much. I was familiar with Probstein, and I was walking by his table, and he was sitting there just by himself, just sitting behind his table. Nobody was really around. So I walked up to him, and I, showed him the card. And, I said, are you, any interest in this? And he said, yeah, what are you looking to get? And I said, yeah, I'd like to get $1,000 for it. And he said, oh yeah, I can get you $1,000. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, I'll take it. It'll be I'll put it up for auction next week. He goes, this will easily get $1,000. I go, okay. And then he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, well, do I get a receipt or anything? And he handed me a card, and he's like, write down your email address. And then he holds the card here. He goes, do you have a phone? And I said, yeah. He goes, take a picture. And he puts my card up next to his head. And he goes, take a picture. He goes, that's your receipt. and I gave my email address, and I walked away. And a week later, the card was up on his site, and it sold for $1,100. So, but that's my one interaction with Probstein.
And that's the man who's now launching a multi-million-dollar enterprise.
Yeah, and then I sent him cards since then to sell, and I had some issues after that. But
do you still
overall,
have
it worked out pretty well. I do. I still have the receipt. Yes.
All right. Love to see that one day, Tex.
I will post it on the Discord today.
We're gonna make up a story about he's like your long lost cousin or something now.
Yes, exactly.
Well, so Simo, is that if you guys all want to just touch quickly on it, a question for the audience: do any of you stream your Whatnot shows to YouTube while you're live just for more eyeballs? And if not, why not?
I don't. There's no reason not to. I think easeability is the main reason. Honestly, I wanted to wait till I had my setup how I wanted it before I would do that. Kind of to that point now. So I do plan on looking into it and just seeing the easiest way to do that. I don't know of many people that do it. I don't necessarily know why. It might be the easeability reason.
Yeah, I for me, streaming from my dorm room, I think my computer would give out on that dorm Wi-Fi. Otherwise, I'd stream it to a few different places otherwise. But I think once I'm back here, that's something I want to get into, is more of that media creation. I filmed a bunch of the reactions to the Blast stuff yesterday, so I want to post those everywhere. I want to post full streams somewhere. I want to really get into that media stuff, especially as someone younger in the hobby. I think I have a lot more of that avenue to post streams on YouTube, post streams on Facebook, do all that kind of fun stuff just to get more eyeballs in it.
And Jacob, at National 2 years ago, I met you guys had a social media coordinator for LCC, didn't you? I thought there was a young woman that I met who was 20. I'm pretty sure for LCC when you guys were streaming there. So I was just curious.
No, it wasn't your mom. It was definitely. I remember her too. She had a camera. She was going around taking pictures.
I wasn't at the National 2 years ago. I had
You were only 14, Jacob. You might not remember.
Little baby Boba.
Yeah. By the way, we want to thank. We're streaming this live right now, and Jacob took time away getting ready for midterms. So we appreciate him being here. It's the man does everything. He does ripping, he does school, and he appears on shows. But Lungta, what about you with streaming on?
Great question. She thrifts. I would love to, but I don't have enough followers right now. So this is where I can pimp out my show. I do grade reveals. I want to. The boys do it well. And people seem to love it. I'd like to, but I'm still slowly growing the channel. So
yeah, but that's how you do it.
How long have you been breaking?
2 months. I just
Oh, okay. So you are very brand new.
I'm so
Okay.
new. I just started doing this because I just love Bo Jackson Battle Arena. And you guys
Uh-huh.
remember when it first came out, outside of Hobby Club, there was no one really doing it that had a lot of passion in my from my perspective. So yeah, we just want to do it, have some fun, and hopefully put out an entertaining product. And I think we're kind of doing that.
And
Yeah.
Simo, oh, sorry, Sabi. Simo,
I was just gonna ask. Hey,
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask Eric a question about streaming YouTube. I think he's the last one.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry, yes.
Yeah, I have, and I do. All my previous breaks are on there, and I think it's a good way too because it records it under your live streams, so people can go back and watch. Maybe a little bit easier functionality than going into Whatnot and watching that way, but to what we were saying with eBay and text, to your point about finding the break on eBay, I've had a lot of people that they bought into the break, they bookmarked the show, and they can't find it anywhere on the eBay Live app or platform. So they go to YouTube and they actually prefer to watch live that way. So it has worked out very well to do that. That's a good question.
Great.
Tech, you had a question for Simo?
Yeah, Simo, I know you came. I believe you came from the world of sneakers, right? You sold sneakers before this. And
Boy,
stuff?
look at him. Look at him. Does he not look like a guy who's out there who knows everything about the most rare sneakers?
It's a sneakerhead. They're referred to as sneakerheads, Grandpa. But you're brand new to breaking boba too, right? Or were you breaking sports cards?
Yep.
Before
I went
boba.
from I've resold shoes pretty much my entire life. Just live streaming wise, I did it for a short period of time, but I was on eBay and had a big local crowd of people that would want stuff. My mother did Whatnot for time. So I tried shoes for a little bit on there, and it was just weird. Everybody wanted dollar starts, but when you're so new, even in the sports card world, it just doesn't work. And then I did do sports cards. I went in pretty slow, probably 2 years ago. And then within the last year, I decided, okay, I'm going to go in pretty heavy on this. So I was putting up a lot of money. 4 cases, the newer products coming out, or the Jaden Daniels type football cards that everybody wanted in the moment. And it was working, but it was working pretty slow. Then my local card store, who I was pretty connected with and helped me out a lot with just getting cases and things like that at a decent price. They had Battle Arena on their shelf, and he said, you need to check this out. And I was just like, it's on the TCG side. Like, I'm probably not going to check it out. And he was like, buy one and rip it. And I was like, fine, okay. So I bought it, I ripped it, and I was like, this is cool. I was like, the ones without the debut names underneath, I'm like, I have no idea who this is, but it looks cool, you know? And he goes, check it out on Whatnot. And kind of like what Mainly Breaks said, the only one I saw live was Hobby Club. And I was like, well, I mean, they have 100-something people in their room, and they're the only ones doing it. I can get 10, you know, in mine. And so that's how it started. It started pretty much probably a month after Update came out. I started shows with it and stuff, and I mean, it has just exploded since then. I think so many people do sports cards, so someone coming into it new has to be very unique, has to be very, very different and very good, very entertaining, have a great price in order to grow. I just, in all honesty, I got lucky and got in on it early. And it's been
you don't
amazing.
give yourself enough credit, Simo. It's like, no, you're good. That's something to be said, Texas. That's a good thing though, that there's so many breakers. You're gonna see, which we need a separation in the breakers, because there are a few too many right now who maybe the audience is going to decide what's going to happen. But to your point is, like, everybody here on stage, right? You're bringing something, like, it was great what we saw with Valley Hit, bringing the Willy Wonka, like, it was great. I mean, he sold that. It could have gone corny, and 100% it didn't. It was like, I think anybody who watched it was excited. Tex, there was one other breaking format, and if anybody in the audience wants to bring up a breaking format, but the breaking by weapon, and actually I believe it was Soothing who brought up breaking by weapon, which has anyone broke has anyone seen a break by weapon yet?
I haven't. I've considered it. I've talked to Soothing about it as well. I love the idea. Everybody's going to get a hit. It's just kind of
Oh, and Simo, can you tell the audience what weapons are there in Bo Jackson Battle Arena? Sorry.
so there's steel, ice and fire. There's glow, hex, gum, and super. Um, the only fear is that's all there is, right? So even a digit break with the box prices getting as high as they are, that's 10 spots, and that price is even creeping up. A weapon spot, it's even less, unless you broke it up to ice auto, fire auto, steel base, because there's people that want base. I mean, there's people in my room all the time that says, hey, if anybody doesn't want their base cards, can you please send them to me? So it's something that would sell, obviously not for a high amount, but it would move. So that's my only fear with that, is with the box prices being where they are right now and having, I don't even remember how many that is, 7, 8 weapon types. What would that look like? And would it look like a breaker's just trying to rake someone for money, even though, there's only a few spots?
Right. And does anyone else have any experience with doing weapon breaks, or is it anything you'd consider?
I don't think I'd ever do a weapon break.
Yeah.
I think that's too small scale for me personally. I think power breaks is right in that perfect niche of like, if you're going for the nukes, if you wanted that hex spot, let's say you want that hex, that gum, that super spot, you're already going to be someone who's paying for, a power spot, and you're getting the specific power you're looking for. Me and my dad just started building an Apex deck last night, and all we needed is 190 to 195. So if we ever got into a weapon break, I'm going for the hex, the gum, the super spot. But why would I prefer to do that when I could go for a power break and specifically get those 190, 195, that kind of spot? So I think that's kind of my only opposition to that sort of weapon break spot, especially because it's also such a small, there's less people who get in on it. It's less exciting for a vast majority of people,
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do the small version, right, like 7, 8 spots, just one spot per weapon type, I think insurance-wise, it would really help out. Maybe eliminating that whole concept, or really helping. Obviously, the super spot's going to be the one that's give or take, unless you match that with another spot. But then they would just crush the break if there was a super in ice or whatever. So that's something else too. I think is part of that reason is looking at weapons. But
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Slappy.
No, I was just gonna say that's interesting. So I think what I'm hearing from you guys is the weapon break is intriguing. You just got to find a way to bring the cost down, so it's not going to. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see with this group of people. Like, I think you can come up and like there are subgroups or something. Sorry, Tex, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's an interesting audience question from the Javel, I believe it is. He says he's asking, how many cases do breakers end up with after a product drops? He's always been curious.
Depends on how much gas you have in your car and how much time you have off. Because you got a lot of driving to do.
or how much shipping you want to pay.
And how much shipping you want to pay, and how fast you are on eBay, because it's hard to
Zero. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've scrapped and clawed for every bit of wax I've been able to get. Like, I have no allocation. There's no local card. There is a local card store by me that had Alpha Update, because nobody knew what it was. It was just sitting on their shelf. Even the staff didn't know what the product was, which was unfortunate. So I bought them all out. I bought everything they had. But I'm buying on eBay. I'm buying on any website. I've bought from Amazon. Obviously, you can't find it now, but it is the same way that a consumer would get it, and literally paying the same secondary pricing, which makes almost no profit margin on most types of breaks too. So it's just a hustle game of where can you find it? How many people can you network with to hopefully get more product on the next release as well?
Eric, what state are you in?
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta.
All right. And now for Jacob, I know it's very different for you because your family runs a large card shop.
I get a silver spoon in my mouth with boba. That's that's for sure. Although as of now that I've gotten to a bigger scale, they are having the LCC branding and then the sort of Jacob branding with my own stuff, and so they told me they're not holding anything off for Griffey's set. That everything I want to get, I got to get myself. So I got to set up my little campsite outside of my own store and make sure opening day I buy my own product. So I'm trying to pave my own way a little bit, but I definitely did get a lot of assistance going into it.
Well, and it's worth mentioning, Tex. I think, Jacob, you not only have you guys, you're large, you're one of the largest stores in the Midwest, but Lake Country, but also you guys were early. So before this was a guaranteed success, Lake Country took a gamble, and they were big supporters of boba.
We were actually
that's one thing about.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you were actually the very first one, right?
Mm-hmm. National 2024, we were the first ever people to break boba on, I think it was TikTok, I want to say, and Fanatics. So.
And I think you were one of the very first to even to sign like a purchase agreement with Black Packs at that time for the product.
Yeah, I remember getting dinner with my family, and they were showing me all these boba cards and trying to talk me into it, and I was so against it. I'm like, this is the lamest thing ever. I do not care about it.
Look at you now, Jacob. Look at you now.
Oh, yeah. They bring it up all the time. They're like, remember when you didn't want to get into alpha? And I'm like, I know. Don't remind me.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be valuable if everybody knew it, because then everybody would have bought it and they would have printed enough. By the way, I will say, of course, Lake Country got this, is that for folks who don't know, the signed autographed Bojack's poster behind me, that went to
there it is.
That went to every store that agreed to carry boba. That was an enticement. First, Bo Jackson was at this meeting with these card shops saying, carry this product. And you got to take a picture with Bo. You got this autograph. I mean, it was crazy what they were offering. And to think that not every store would sign up. But also, we'll talk about it another time, but if you're a geek, and you know what I mean by a geek, every geek got one of these posters, no charge. So that's another thing. If you're in the boba community, you definitely want to find out about what's a geek.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tex.
Jacob, I was in and out of your break yesterday, which was phenomenal, and I just loved that your mom was there and your sister was there, and you guys were kind of taking turns doing the break and stuff, and your mom was in the background playing the game while you guys broke and stuff. I'd love to see more of that with you guys when you guys break. That was pretty neat to see the interaction with all of you and stuff, and
it's something we definitely want to do going forward. We got a few more blast boxes. We got some jumbos and everything getting ready. We got some blast boxes. We got some jumbos. We want to do another one of those kind of breaks where we have people playing in the background, where we got chasers. We got a lot more alpha stuff coming along. So we're hoping to do more of those chasers. The hot dog chasers went really well. We, for those of you who don't know, every single hot dog spot, because blast boxes aren't guaranteed to have any cool hot dogs, we wanted to, really give it some oomph. So every single hot dog spot, we only did 30, so alpha and update hot dogs were combined, but every single one of those got a chaser from alpha in a slab. So we had like a Mean Joe Green Glow auto. We had I can't even remember who else, like Alan Wrench Orange Battle Foil. We had a bunch of sweet stuff in there, so that was really cool to add that on to Blast. Made it really special.
As far as distribution and everything goes, and what we were kind of just talking about before, have any of you looked into trying to buy from a distributor?
They don't have anything
for future product.
Yeah, I do have allocation with boba. This will be the first set where I have it, obviously, like from the beginning, so I have no idea what I'll receive. I mean, I had to put a request in, kind of just like every card store would have to, but it doesn't mean that's what you're going to get.
Right.
So I'm still going to be at every single store within a 200-mile radius, the day of. But I, like Southern Hobby, I applied for a thing with them, and they even have a breaker section and everything, and I was immediately denied. Like, it was an automated email directly to my to my email. I was like, I would like to know at least why, or like what I need to get to the, like, there was just no information. So that's the only one I've tried. So I have no idea how or what that would even look like. If anyone here has any advice on that, I would love to hear that.
It's always been, the response I've gotten has always been a brick and mortar only. So even distributors who have it, they're only selling to card stores as well, which I get it, but I think that's super unfortunate because, like my experience, the card store, they don't know what the product is. They don't market it. They don't promote it. They don't talk about it enough. And, just between the four of us, like how many thousands of people can we instantly get this product out to by ripping it on Whatnot and talking about it and explaining what it is and why it's so cool and why we love it. You don't see that same marketing or enthusiasm, I think, from a lot of card stores, and so they don't always do the product justice like a lot of the breakers do on Whatnot.
I mean,
Plus, I think.
Hey,
Sorry.
sorry.
Plus, I think that would bring people to the local card store, right? Like if the more they saw it or they see it scrolling on their phone, on their couch. I mean, if it was my first time and I saw it and I fell in love with it, I'd be like, I'm going to go 5 minutes down the road and see if they have a box. So I think that would only increase, eyes for sure.
Hey, Tex.
Yeah.
No, Tex. We're getting close to the end. We got to fit in these next couple questions because Jacob, how much longer do we have you for?
I'm good for a while. I just got to drive down to Chicago eventually, man.
Oh, that's all.
Right, well, we don't want to get. All right, so Tex, you go ahead with your follow-up question, but then I want to get to this question from the audience.
I was just going to say, one of the appealing things about boba is that it's such a small production run. That helps the value and everything of the cards. The cards are, limited. There's, no reprints or anything like that as far as the TCG side of it goes. As good as that is for the product and for the collectors and everything, do you think that is the main hindrance to the distribution side as to why you're not able to get product either through a distributor or, you're having to track it down on eBay and Amazon and, drive all over the state hitting various card stores hoping they have it?
I enjoy it. I hope the print run stays the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoy it not being easy. It also makes it fun, in my opinion. I do feel bad for the smaller breakers that want to do it. It's nearly impossible. It's at this time point, right? When Griffey comes out, that would probably be the better time to start versus right now. But I think it increases everything. I think it increases value for each and every breaker, increases value obviously on boba. And it makes everyone want it more. If it was just sitting on every shelf at Target like every other sports card, I think at some point it would just sit there just because it's always there. So I love it.
All right. Is that a consensus with everybody that you think the production should kind of stay where it is?
Yeah,
Trust me, I want more.
Yeah, as much as we want more,
without
more,
watering down the product, though.
I mean, I think that's part of what they're
500
doing.
parallels and stuff.
Yeah, adding more parallels will help for sure. And adding in those double megas rather than boosters, that's going to make everything so much more accessible in not only in like tournament play, because before like tournaments, you have a sealed booster. That's a lot of buy-in. That's a lot of print run versus a double mega is 10 packs. That's going to be so much more fun to play with in a tournament style for sealed.
All right. Slappy, did you have some audience questions you wanted to get to?
So I don't have any experience with this. I'd love to hear you guys.
So hold on, as Tex does this thing where he doesn't read it, and there are some people who like to drive and listen. So Tex, we like
what
to
am I
take
missing?
care of the vision impaired. So we actually read it out loud. So the question from Big Rob, BRFTW, is I'd like to hear about problems they've had with the product and how the company Boba responded. For example, damaged boxes or cases without an auto or case hit, damaged car. An example is Radish, is that there were in the alpha, there was a known issue where we're talking under the number of boxes, not cases, boxes on my hand were impacted, where the hits were not what they were expected to be. And Radish had the distinct pleasure of receiving over half of those boxes in our break. It was so much fun going through I think they were hobby, right? They were a hobby box and not getting an auto, not getting the hits. I was like, you've got 2 low number plays and that was it. But I got to say with Boba is like, first of all, it was again, it's a massive undertaking. Like we just take it for granted, right? That, they're just making cards. Like this is a company that never made cards before. They hit it out of the park, not only with the creativity, not only with the distribution, but in the manufacturing process, the number of mistakes that they encountered is remarkable for a team that never manufactured a card before. And to have the problem with under 10 boxes, and I'm glad that it ended up with Radish, but I will say they absolutely took care of us, and they were great. So that's a great way to set it up for the rest of you and the issues you've had with it.
I've seen a few miscuts or whatever, which is awesome to see. So I don't have any issue with that. I've ripped, I have no idea how much, but a very good amount. And I have had one case of boosters that didn't have a green glow. And that is the only thing I've ever had. I've never had a damaged box, never had no auto. That was really the only issue I've ever had. And honestly, I was like, did I do something and mix this case with something? But I opened it on stream, so I know I didn't. But I was just like, I almost thought it was just my fault somehow because I've never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had absolutely zero problems with Battle Arena ripping, and you know, I rip Tops and Panini stuff all the time, and almost every product there's something wrong. You know, either there's supposed to be a hit where there's no hit, or they put something on the checklist and then it appears that card doesn't even exist. You know, or something's retail only that they then had in hobby. So there's all kinds of issues. That's one of the things I love even more about this product is the fact that there's been absolutely no issues. And then the distribution of hits, I feel like, has been so good. You know, if you're ripping a jumbo and you hit sort of like a lull in the packs to where there's not a whole lot of action coming out, you know it's coming. Because it's always going to be in there and it always delivers. And, you know, you can rip entire cases of Tops and Panini and completely, you know, get a punch to the face on that. And it doesn't feel good for anybody. So that's what's been beautiful on this from a breaking perspective, as well as somebody who buys into a lot of breaks.
Right. Seth, I think, did you have something to say on the previous topic we were talking about, I think, before we moved into this?
I may have. I think it was just a quick statement that I'm totally okay with all of the product being at the stores because this should be enjoyed in person. This is a community product. Like, I love the community aspect of us and whatnot hanging out. And I even went to the local comic and card shops in Southern Maine and showed them the cards, hoping that they would actually become be part of the distribution, so they would bring it in the stores. So yeah, that was my only point. I hope it stays at the stores, and I hope people get to play in person, and enjoy it there.
Yeah, and Tex, that's I wanted to bring up this comment by JVal, and if folks want to, you know, let's talk about the 300-pound gorilla in the room. Would love to see more product for the average person than the breakers. I enjoy ripping something I can use to play a game. And so what's hard is, you know, Seth, you mentioned you got involved because it's really fun. Well, the part that's not fun is when people see you as a greedy breaker and like, why can't people get product? And it's so expensive to be in your breaks. There is a balance, and it's very hard, right? Is that people want to have they want their product. You know, JVal has he shares a feeling that many in the community have. I know JVal, I was speaking with him. He found the product like a year ago. He's going to be heading to Baltimore to play. Like, it sounds like he's going to have an exciting time. But does anybody, and it's okay if you guys don't, does anybody want to address just kind of that issue? You know, you hear it as a breaker, like where people say, why do they have it and I don't?
I was going to say, my plan for Griffey right now is to never rip a blaster on stream. I don't want to do that. I want to leave blasters entirely for people who want to get into it. I'm happy to sell blasters. I mean, we're going to sell blasters here at the shop. I'm happy to sell them to people. I'm happy to throw blaster packs into whatever. But I think that, you know, blasters and those double megas that we're talking about, those are going to be amazing to get people into the product, people into whatever. They're going to be at Target. They're going to be at Dick's Sporting Goods. That's going to be amazing to kind of, you know, build that outreach. I really don't want to. I want, as a, you know, now that I'm kind of more of that middle-sized breaker, I would like to just do hobbies and jumbos as much as I can and add in chasers, add in singles, because that's really where I make my best margins. Honestly, being fully honest, I make my best margins on those jumbos and hobbies. And as someone who has bought in, as well as someone who has broken, I always rip any blasters that I can find at Target, that I can find at local game stores, because it just doesn't feel right to throw those into a break. They feel like they're too small scale that it does feel more like I'm just feeding money out of people rather than doing something I enjoy. And so I just want to try and give as many blasters and those retail boxes back to the community to try and get more people in and involved.
Excellent.
Yeah, I agree, because I love to rip cards as much as anybody, and I do a lot of personal rips myself. So I share that sentiment. It always sucks when you see a massive breaking company with, thousands of cases of a product that you can't have access to. But the way I view it is, if I get my hands on a collector case, I have a couple options. One, I can rip the whole thing myself. Or I can share it with the friends and community, and I choose to share it. I like the experience of opening cards with other people. To Mainly's point about being at a card shop with the community, we don't really have that scene here in Atlanta. There isn't a card shop that has gotten behind this to create that in-person community. So I've been trying to do that online. I've been trying to do that with my followers on Whatnot and the people who are into sports, and sort of convert them into Battle Arena that way, is using breaks as the method, not to make money or profit, but just to get the word of Battle Arena out there.
Great. I think we're getting kind of close to the end here, but I would like to address, and Slappy, don't yell at me, because I think, this will be a topic of many later shows. But as we're about a month away from Griffey, I just want to get what are your overall expectations for Griffey, and where is your excitement level?
We can't even talk. It's off the charts excitement. The people message me all the time on Whatnot and on eBay, just friends, just how excited everyone is. And I'm just happy to be along for the ride as a part-time guy. Sky's the limit here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Cannot wait. The amount of text checks I've gotten and seen, just so ready. Come on.
I have
I've
replaced the countdown in my phone for my 21st birthday to a countdown to Griffey's set. So that's how
my hero
for that. Just
Nice.
Will you be 21 when Griffey comes out?
I will not. It'll be about a month afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say we'll send you out some champagne. You can have your you can pop a bottle of champagne for your first Griffey break.
Mhm.
Tex, since you went there with Griffey,
Yeah.
is one of the questions, of course, we're going to be doing another Boba Breakers backstage this Sunday night. And so the question is going to be, is the Griffey set the greatest set of all time? I think if you look at the alpha set, people, the first, they're probably going to say that. But if you want to step back, other than the first, look at the heroes who are in it, is that it's hard, right? Because so one of the things that's different between Boba and Topps is Topps has to put every Miami Marlin in that set, and you're going to be pulling crap that nobody wants. And with Boba, right, they go back through history and they pull it's just, again, for folks who are not familiar, I've never done heroin, but I can imagine, this is what doing heroin is like. Is opening a Boba box, and I've opened Top stuff, and it doesn't even compare. Is like when you rip Boba, you're going to be when you see that silver battle foil. Even now, when you know the value of a silver battle foil, you're still excited when you see the silver battle foil. It still has that emotional high that you get, and it hasn't been lost. So I with the Griffey set though, by the way, it's not the Griffey set. It's the Mo Rivera set. People just incorrectly keep calling it the Griffey
I like
set.
that.
Fanatics, baby.
So do you guys think, and this is just guessing what they're going to come out with next sets, but when you look at these heroes in this next set, do you think this is going to be the greatest set of all time to ever come out of Boba? And of course, we'll never know it for 20 years. People will be excited for the next set and the set after that. But it won't be until 20 years later when we look back. When we look back, will we see this Mo Rivera set as the greatest set of all time?
Potentially, it blows my mind how they were able to get the heroes, the athletes, the caliber that they have so quickly. It just doesn't make sense to me. And
2 words: Bo Jackson.
those are 2 really powerful words.
Yeah. Oh, and one more word: money.
Yeah. That'll work too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be scared to say like, yeah, but who knows what's next? Like, we know Tecmo Bowl's next, but like, let's just say after Griffey, after Tecmo,
yeah.
after Griffey update, assuming Griffey update. I mean, Michael
And don't
Jordan
forget-
exists, guys.
And his
No.
contract is up with Upper Deck.
Yeah.
He's a
That's
free
true.
agent as of next
Mahomes
year.
as well. Mahomes between the Tops and Panini, like between there. I mean, it could
Is
be absolutely monstrous.
Mahomes' contract is up next year too?
Actually be up for the Tecmo Bowl set. So
Oh,
I am praying
oh.
hard, but I'm also gonna have no money. So I'm also like, either way, I'm cool.
I didn't know that about Mahomes. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it could be wild.
Tex, before you go to everybody for their final
Yeah.
word, I did want to share one thing is that for folks who don't know that Big Rob, BRFTW, he's watching us live. He's also, you can see him in the chat, but he has put together a price guide, which pulls all the eBay pricing. And right now it's updated with everything other than the cyber cards, the rookie cards from National, and the sidekick. So you can find the pricing for all. So you can see right there on the screen, it's got Bo Jackson and Wonders. And so what you're going to do is you just click on the Bo Jackson. You can go through and, like, for instance, I brought up the Big League Chew. And what's amazing, Tex, to see this data that's coming in is the last 30 days. You look at Young Gunner, the last sale was $5. So that's crazy to me
That's
that you
insane.
can get Big League Chew cards. Yeah. So it talks about the average, and it's interesting. The Big League Chew won. The last sale was 10, but the 30-day average price is $93.
I need 2 of those to finish my set. How did I miss a $10 one? Damn it.
So the key is if you're looking for pricing on it, a quick, easy place to go. I want to give a shout out to Big Rob. He does a great job building this. He's the most brilliant developer, but we're just waiting on the checklist from the Boba team, and we'll get the cyber and the sidekicks and the rookies in there. But if you head over to radishpriceguide.com, it's kind of a cool place. You can also sort it by grades. So you can say how many grade 10s they are. What are they selling for? You can put in different ones. So I just want to give a shout out to Rob for that great work.
Yeah, Rob's awesome. Yeah, well, this has been awesome. Thank you all for being with us today. And let's get to any last words. Seth, let's start off with you. And have I been calling you the wrong name this whole show?
No, that's my name.
Oh, okay. Because Slappy's calling you Lungta, and I'm calling you Seth. And
It's AKA. I've been
Okay.
Lungta for however long the Discord's been up. Only final
Gotcha.
words is super happy to be a part of this. I love seeing everyone smile when we talk about Boba. It's just genuine happiness and joy. It's really cool to be a part of. So thanks.
excellent. And when is your next stream? When are you live? again?
Every Sunday at 6. Actually, I changed it to 6:06 because I saw Simo had these weird digits. I'm like, why is he doing 7:07? I'm going to do that because Simo's doing it. So they all say
Nice.
6:06.
Do you want me to tell you why I do that?
It's a secret. Yeah, tell us why.
Because like whoever I follow, if I go on the hour at 6, there's a ton of notifications with who's going live. So I either do it at 59 before all those notifications on whatnot come through, or at like 6:01. So everybody sees the notification, hopefully more than like when they got 10 people going live.
Oh, you're a smart guy, Simo. Okay.
So now we all just have to pick a number. Don't do 6:01. We all got to go.
I'm 6:06 because it rhymes.
That's great.
Perfect.
I like 6:06.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you, Seth, for being with us. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you in future shows.
Thank you.
Simo, final words.
Seth said it pretty good, but I can't believe I'm here. I'm so grateful. I absolutely love the product. The community is second to none. There's no community like it. So all those people that don't know about it, I can't wait for them to be a part of it because it's truly, truly unbelievable. I wouldn't be here without people like you. I appreciate you having me here. Yeah, we go live a lot. It's kind of random. But we plan on going live today at some point early afternoon around 2 or 3 o'clock Central.
And we're recording, we're live actually at, around 10 a.m., 10 on Friday morning.
Yeah.
So
It's 10 o'clock Eastern on
Yes.
October 24th.
Yes. Thank you, Simo. Jacob, final thoughts.
First, I'd like to say it's not the Griffey set; it's the Antetokounmpo set, but no one could pronounce that, so they had to make it easier.
Oh, just say Giannis.
Oh, that's true. Well, there's 5 Antetokounmpos in this set. What?
Oh, that's true.
It can't be
Can't have
anybody
one
else.
without all of them, right?
You could say Giannis is.
Have you
yeah.
seen some of the names
I think it's
Giannis
Gianni.
for the Giannis cards?
Yeah, the type of something.
Wait, what's that, Seema?
No. What are they?
One of them's like Anteta what?
It's onto the K, onto the
Yeah.
or onto the something K, onto the something A for Alex, Kostas, and the others.
It is great.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. And are they all signing? They're all signing, correct?
Oh, yeah. Giannis said that he'd sign if his brothers could sign too, and so they're all of them are in there.
That's amazing. I'm sorry. Continue, Jacob, with any final
And then,
thoughts.
yes,
here.
I'm excited to be here, man. I've been so grateful to this community for giving me a good shot. I want to really try and amp it up coming up here with Griffey sets. So look forward to seeing some bigger things and hold me at a high expectation so I can meet that.
Excellent. And when are you live again? When is your next break?
I have zero clue. I'm on fall break right now, so I'm all over the place. But I'm hoping next week I either stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, or Fridays. So hopefully one of those days.
Excellent. And I just want to say I've met your mom a few times at nationals. She's a riot. You got to get her on doing breaks.
Scary lady.
Yeah. I think she should do some breaks. I think she'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Eric, final thoughts?
Yeah, been enjoying this ride as much as I possibly can. I've almost abandoned almost all my planned sports card breaks for Battle Arena over the last 2 months. And I've been trying to hold down the morning shift. I like ripping early. So, 9 a.m. sometimes Eastern time. I do a lot of like 11 a.m. Noon shows. So, what better way to burn the hours at work than jumping into a Battle Arena break or just watching it, You don't even have to buy a spot, just hang out. That's the fun part to me is just being with the community and being online together. I have very little product left, so I'm trying to save as much as I can and keep the consistency going until Griffey comes out. But until then, I'll do breaks probably every 1 or 2 weeks. Look for the 11 a.m. Eastern time starts.
Excellent. Do you have your next break scheduled or not yet?
Next one is next Wednesday. Yeah,
a week
11
from
a.m.
So 4 days from now, 5 days from now.
Yes, sir.
Math is hard. Excellent. Well, again, I thank everyone for being here and doing this with us. We'll definitely talk to all of you again at some point on these shows. And thank you, Slappy, for putting this all together, being the greatest producer in Radish. And I'm Tex Hooper, and this has been Breakers Back Room, right? What do we call this? Backstage. Boba Breakers Backstage. It's only our second show. Give me a break. We'll be back Sunday night. Sunday night will be our next show. We'll have a whole other group of breakers with us, I believe, to talk more about the world of boba and the world of breaking. And this has been Radish Digital with a J. And thanks a lot, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Seacrest out.